Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. This is episode 156 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies podcast. We're brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline. Website design, Google Ads, graphic design, printing. We can absolutely help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. And if you own a business and want to get a free review, you can fill out the form right there on our homepage, and we'll go over your entire online presence, send you a cool video within about 48 hours. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a black belt training out of South Florida. We got Christian behind the camera.
Hey.
Got Bo in the house as well. Woo! And you know what? I forgot to change it. Like I stopped saying black belt training out of South Florida because I was embarrassed with my old gym. We all know what they sparked. I train at Coral Springs Jiu Jitsu.
Hey,
in the heart of Coral Springs.
Aren't you guys having a seminar in 2 weeks?
We're having a seminar on January 18th with BJJ After 40. Mike and Sheena Bidwell are coming in from Colorado.
Awesome.
You're going to be there, right?
I hope to be.
Hold on, hold on. Cut. We'll do it again. You're going to be there, right, Ben?
I'll see if my wife allows me out. I told her I had friends.
There. If you're around and you want to come in, please stop by. Right on Sample Road in Coral Springs.
I'm 33, so
but it's it's their brand.
Dude, don't put me in there.
Someone said that to me last night. They're like, I'm only 38. Like,
yeah, the brand is BJJ After 40 is what is their brand and name online, but the jiu-jitsu is not about being specific to 40 and over. Okay. It just happens to be like, hey, they're older players. For anybody that's even starting at 40 plus, it's a great channel to watch. There's lots of like stuff on nutrition. They wrote a book. Do I have the book here? They wrote a book. I wrote a little blurb. It's on the back cover of the book. This is really cool. It's not specific, like you have to be over 40. It just happens to be their brand. Great gi and lapel game that he's going to be teaching. I went to Costa Rica for a retreat with Heroes BJJ, and they were the coaches. I had interviewed both of them together. And Mike Bidwell, I interviewed him twice, and then he and his wife came on as well, all remote. So we've interviewed them several times. I felt like they were friends and family, so I went to the retreat, and it was great. And we're like, we got to do a seminar in Florida. They wanted to come to Florida so bad, so we set it up. They're coming in. So don't forget to like, comment, download, share, and click that subscribe button. We appreciate all your support. Joining us today is, I wrote down martial arts marketing guru.
Sure,
good? You like it?
Yeah,
Matthew Brenner, thank you for coming out, Matthew.
My pleasure.
If you own an academy or aspire to open an academy, I think this is going to be their podcast. This is a good one to listen to. Obviously, like we talked about, I own a marketing company as well, so I love talking about marketing and just different ideas. Got an academy owner over here as well, ATT Palm Beach Gardens. Yeah. I'm going to do a couple of quick shout outs here. I'm going to do some sponsor reads and jump in, say anything you want. It's basically become a free-for-all. Right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Hands down the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Visit them on Instagram at flow_n_roll and check out the custom designs that they've created for academies all over the country. Gym owners, you can stock up on your gis and no-gi kits at flowandroll.com today. You can visit their website and get 20% off your online orders with code JJD. And we always mention that they've got a really cool pre-order program for companies or academies that don't want to lay out 10, 15 grand for all their stuff. Reach out, ask for a custom quote. Sean's great. Sean is on the road right now. Like they've Flow and Roll setting up at the IBJJF events and some of the ADCCs. So like they're in a truck with he's in a truck with his kids. This is, they've grown. I remember when it was just really like mostly t-shirts, and he was trying to break into the academy, kind of that academy game where you're doing like all the custom stuff for the academy. He kind of went back to his roots of setting up at the events. Tons of connections, sells tons of product, gets through the door to the academy. His gear is really great. It's like great, fits great, really cool artwork. And then the academy owners, they go to they show up on Monday for class, and all the kids are wearing that stuff that they bought on the weekend at the IBJJF event. So he gets into the academies, and now the coach is like, everybody's got your shit on. What's going on? Let's talk. So really cool stuff. And then he's also like the IBJJF events. They're very specific about the gi, colors, logos. They have worked with the organizations to make sure they are approved. Their gear is approved. There have been other people that have been at those events who've sold stuff to competitors, and then they're like, you have to change. Yeah, you have to change, or you're going to get a DQ. And they don't give them their money back.
That's crazy.
Flow and Rolls, it's like they come over, they're like, I can't wear this. And he's like, well, you can buy,
Yeah.
Our stuff is approved, you can buy. So really cool. Sean's great to work with. He's been with us since the very beginning, right? We were giving away t-shirts to listeners from day one, right? Let's shout out Leo Optics. You got a pair? We got to make sure you bring in your pair. You got a pair, right?
I had a pair.
You had a pair?
It has been requisitioned by my better half.
Your wife took your shit? Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Leo Optics, go-to brand for sunglasses and apparel featuring their unique, these are bamboo sunglasses. Born in Southern California, their products embody the BJJ lifestyle that we all know and love. Visit leooptics.com and use code JJD for 10% off your order. And they are also supporters of Academy Safe. And they gave us, I know they're in the mail. He sent me a picture of the box. I think we got at least 3 pairs of sunglasses that we're going to raffle off.
Awesome.
At the event next Saturday, January 18th. So really cool, huge supporters. Lionel over there.
Let me try those on.
Sure, here you go.
Check those out.
Very cool. Did you see the little stripe there? Like for so you can get that one's for black belt. Obviously, I think pretty much by default you get this with the red. You'll get that if you don't specify that you like. Hey, I want to put my belt rank. So blue. I don't think anybody asks for white belt.
Yeah,
but blue through brown.
I'll need a blue.
And then what do you call it?
Beautiful.
They they'll send them out. So you got to give them time. I think you probably got to give them an extra couple of days because they do it. It's custom for your order. So love them. Lionel's awesome, and so are the other guys that are behind the company that I can't say their names. I don't think I can say their names. Actually, it's a big podcaster. Very big, big podcaster is helping them out over there. Do I get this right here? I'm just gonna have to go like this. Let me move those over. Is that even on camera, Christian?
No.
No? Is that ever gonna? Is Leo Optics ever gonna show up on that one? Let me just put it like that. Okay, let's just put it like that. We won't worry about that. Lahil. Which way do I go here?
So handsome.
Lahil Biogenics. They work with Robbie D'Onofrio. It's how they kind of we got on their radar. They have 3 locations in Florida: Lakeland, Brandon, and Tampa. I actually heard her on a podcast. I feel like she said 4, but there's 3 on the website. I've got to double check. Bo and I are going to go up there on the 24th. We're going to take a little road trip, and I'm going to get a treatment. I'm not 100% sure what we're doing yet, but I'm going up there. We're going to do some filming. We're going to get a treatment, and they've been really cool. So they are pros at regenerative medicine, right? And there's so many different things. Like I don't want to say we don't want to get blocked on. We don't want to get blocked by YouTube. So there's lots of methods to regenerative medicine. We'll do the read and we'll get into a little bit more. But I'm gonna put the link to the YouTube video where she was on a podcast talking about explaining all the different types of treatments that they offer. Stuff that you've heard on all the big podcasts and everybody's talking about this and BP, whatever, all that stuff. They talk about that. She explains it. I think it's super informative. I'm actually going to extend an invite to them at some point in the future to have them come on because I'd love for her to come. And Stacy,
really fascinating conversation.
Stacy, I think it's there's so much out there now. And it was funny, the podcast host, who one of them specifically is a patient, he was even he knew stuff when it came up, but he's just like, I can't even remember all these different numbers and names and, what's this versus, peptide versus exosomes and all this stuff. So it was super informative. I'm going to put the link to that podcast in the description on both the sound on the podcast apps and on YouTube so that everybody can listen a little bit more. So rolling every day is tough on the body, but pain doesn't have to hold you back. At Lahil Biogenics, they empower Jiu Jitsu practitioners like you to recover faster, train harder, and achieve peak performance with the power of regenerative medicine, helping athletes stay on the mat and on top of their game. Not local? No problem. Schedule a free telephone consult. The process is easy with same-day treatments available. Okay. At Lahil Biogenics, their expert team delivers more than just natural biologics, offering advanced solutions like exosome therapy, prescribed medical grade peptides, laser therapy. I heard a lot about the laser therapy, which was real intriguing on that podcast, and so much more to keep you performing at your best. Don't let pain or injuries hold you back. Schedule your free in-person telemedicine consultation today at lahil.com. So that's LEHEAL.com, and let them help you get back to doing what you love, which is choking your friends out, right? And punching them in the face in your case, right? At your gym, right?
Only if you really like them.
Oh, I went to. We were talking about Leo Optics before. I took this out. This is a large. This is a long sleeve rash guard.
Yeah, that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
I know that I haven't been able to wear it. They only sent me up to XL, and the XL just doesn't. I wear XL and everything. It just didn't fit me, so I didn't get it to XL from them. But this large, it's basically fits like a medium if you said you're medium.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
Once you take, you can take that out. You can show it to the camera
tomorrow.
So yeah, that's it's got the nice logo on the front. So also something that's near and dear to my heart. We've mentioned it. You said that you've seen it as well. We're also brought to you by academysafe.org. Academy Safe is a nonprofit whose mission is to help clean up martial arts by advocating for background checks, U.S. Center for Safe Sports certifications, and concussion training for all coaches and staff members at every academy throughout the United States and Canada. I am the founder and executive director of Academy Safe. Rob Ingram, the founder of McDojo Life, is our executive VP. And together we're going to completely change the way people find and vet martial arts academies that they choose by providing a website registry listing Academy Safe accredited martial arts academies throughout North America. In addition, we mandate CPR, first aid, and defibrillator training, actually having a defibrillator on premises as well, security cameras, and business insurance. We're going to check your belt lineage. We've been lucky enough that we've been using beltchecker.com, right? So if you're not on BeltChecker, get on there. It's a great way for you to, it's like other coaches, you know what it is, right? Mm-hmm. Other people, other coaches, students, kind of like confirming like, yeah, I actually know that guy and he is that belt. You can put in all your information. You can put in information about like pictures of when you got your promotions, whether it's stripes, degrees, or full belt promotions. It's really good. So we've been using that. I saw an image and I can't find it again, but Belt Checker had like all these other checkers, like Judo Checker. This I haven't found the page on their website again because it's like all a volunteer thing for them. But hopefully they do the other checkers, and then it's going to make our life easier when we're checking other disciplines, because it is something that we run into. Like we have a guy that's actually from Russia, and he's like, we don't do all this belt stuff there. And he's like, I do Sambo, I do Judo. He's like, I don't have pictures. I don't have. So like we're working with him and trying to figure that out. So it's good. Like these little issues that come up are helpful to us. But again, we are doing the belt checking system. So, Rob from McDojo has been doing that for years, right? Outing these fake black belts and stuff. I mean, that's like the premise of his whole brand is making sure that people know when there's a bad boy out there, right? I was going to go back to, what were we talking about? So one of the things I wanted to mention I'm getting a lot of messages about the one little holdup that people think is going to hold them up is like an AED. Oh my God, an AED is so expensive. Listen, we're going to list you, and then we're going to show when you get that item, and then you'll get fully accredited. But as long as your coaches, your owner, and your coaches are passing the background checks, we're going to list you. You'll have a page on our site. It will say that you're not fully accredited yet, that you're in the process. Once it's fully accredited, we give you a sticker. We start posting about you. You're going to have stickers for your doors, for your windows in your academy. We send you some gear. We send you a nice little coffee mug. Like, now you're part of the family. You still will get a listing page. So don't let one of these items hold you up. And believe it or not, I know what I was going to say before too was, and you work with a lot of academy owners, one of the things that I find that I'm hearing from academies is they let their insurance policies lapse a lot of times. Like they
auto
That's
pay,
insane.
right? Auto pay, auto renew.
It's insane.
Well, the thing is, what's funny is you need, like, if you're going to rent space, you need the liability coverage. Like, you need to show them your coverage, right? And then you've signed your lease. The landlord's not coming back. If you sign a multi-year lease, he's not coming back the next year asking you for your insurance again.
Yeah.
So if you let it lapse, there's really nothing. There's nobody coming to check.
Sure.
Right. So I'm noticing in speaking to academies that it's one of the things that I'm not accusing anybody, but it feels like they let it lapse on purpose because they just feel like they're going to save a couple of bucks. But after that $49 million lawsuit that Henry Gracie wound up, being an expert witness for, that's how most people remember it. Post that, like, people are realizing like this is something that needs to happen. So when we first came up with the 8 points for Academy Safe, we were looking at it going, do we really need to like worry about insurance? Is that really one of the things? And now it's like, so there's so many academies like, we have to renew. So when we're collecting the data now, it's forcing them to renew, which is a good thing for the community. So,
can I say something about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned the cost of an AED machine. I mean, that's not expensive.
My academy got one for $450.
That's cheap. I think I spent like $2,000. But either way,
I'm gonna have the link for that company on the website pretty soon. But we have a deal with the company. They're a little expensive, but they're like the latest generation.
Oh, cool.
But you go ahead, continue.
Yeah, like that's minimal compared to the cost of a lawsuit or the cost on your like soul of like someone who might die on your mat because you didn't want to spend a couple grand on something that's going to last for years. Like we've had people. We had one person 15 years ago die on the mat.
Yeah,
and we didn't have an AD machine.
Yeah,
we didn't know. First of all, this was before everyone had AD machines and like the businesses. Maybe it was probably more than 15 years ago, probably 20 years ago, and he was just like working out, had a heart attack, died. Literally just died. And like now I can't imagine that we would ever put anyone in a situation where we can't save their life because they're not trained in CPR or AED. And AED machine, if you think like, I have to be like trained and like know how to use it perfectly, they talk to you. When you open it up, it tells you what to do. It tells you how to apply everything. Because I've done the certification. If you tested me on it right now, I'm not going to know anything. Right? But I know it talks to you when you open it. Yeah. So especially in the moment when your adrenaline's running, and probably really scary.
Absolutely. So. And even like we have Avive is the name, AVIVE. If you go to our website, look for the banner, look for the logo. You can click on it, and you can go to our page. It's a branded Academy Safe page. You can go there. You get a discount on the items. I'm suggesting that people call because they will work out. Like their AED machine is like $2,500, but they'll work out a plan where you pay it like $500 and change for 5 years. They'll just break it up over 5 years. 5 years, it's not that bad. It is the latest and greatest in AEDs. In that. Let's just say you owned an affiliation, right? Matthew Brenner Martial Arts, and you have all these affiliates around the country. If you mandated that they had these in their facilities so that you know that this never comes up the ladder to you, the lawsuit never gets to you, you could, let's just say, mandate that they all get an Avive. I have Aviv and Avive. Aviv is a martial arts academy here that we work with. Avive is the AED company. You can check as an owner on an app. You can see where every AED is, if it's charged, when it was last fired. If it was used, you'd get an alert. So it's like kind of the latest and greatest. That's Plus, it's one set of pads, kids or adults. Oh, so you don't have to change it. Actually, you put the pads on, and it says like it reads kind of the whatever it is, with the energy, whatever you're putting out, will tell them. Like what type of, I guess the jolt is the technical terms here, the shock that it's going to give you, right? So it'll recognize if it's an adult or child. So it's truly the latest and greatest. I don't know that it was used on that Buffalo player, the football player that got hit and had the heart attack. I forget his name. I don't know if they actually used it on him, but the doctor that helped him and I think revived him there, it might have been their AD. He might have used it. It was their AED, this company that we're talking about. Oh. So it was their actual AED. They're working with other NFL players now. I believe they're trying to work with the NFL, and we were lucky enough to get in and set up an arrangement with them so that we can send our traffic their way. But I'm also adding some other companies because there are people, they need supplies, they need pads, that people need other things, or they have them and they haven't kept up with them. So we're trying to help people and direct them to the right place to not only get new equipment, get some of the items that they need, but also to get the training. So, reach out. We'll put you together. And, So we have a GoFundMe running on that website. So you can also donate via PayPal or the GoFundMe. Both links are available on our site. We are a nonprofit, so we're trying to do this really super cheap and make this affordable for Academy owners. You can find the links in the description wherever you're watching or listening. So we'd love for everyone, if they can donate something small. You can absolutely just share the GoFundMe. You don't have to donate, but please share it. Tell all of your martial arts friends. You can visit us at academysafe.org and get yourself and your academy signed up right now. You don't have to be the owner. You could be a coach, get it set up. We'll start listing you. That's already happened where it's just like the head coach is like, I want to do this, but the owner's dragging his feet. Go ahead and set up. We'll get you background check. You'll go through the entire process. We'll set up your page. It will not show you fully accredited, but it'll actually show the coach. And like that coach, we can show that you've completed everything and you're going to be listed online, and people are going to be able to see that and find you. All right. We already talked about the seminar. You can go to our Instagram, Academy Safe, and check out all the details for the upcoming seminar. All we're asking is that you donate on our GoFundMe, $75. We'll get in touch with you once we see the donation. You can send us a note as well. And again, we've got some really cool giveaways and things that are going to happen that day. All right, Matt. Thank you for being patient. That's it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I didn't show the pills. We'll do them next time. I was supposed to do a little bit of an unboxing. We'll do it next time. But again, Matt, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. You had Rob Ingram on your podcast.
Yeah.
Right. He talked a little bit about us. I guess about Academy Safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great guy. Love having him involved. His book is right. Where's his book? His book is right behind me.
Yeah.
Great dude. He's helped us a lot with the Academy Safe. I love working with him. He's a good dude, man. So
yeah, I had him on the Black Belt Business podcast, which is more for martial arts business owners who do jiu-jitsu or karate or taekwondo or judo. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I had him on there. One of the things we talked about was cameras, because for us, we have a franchise in martial arts schools. So it was started by my brother. Okay. So we have 30 locations, over 30 in Philadelphia and in the area. Okay. So he's the owner of the franchise. He started. I came on later and kind of helped him grow it. And now I mainly do coaching consulting for people who want to grow their martial arts schools that are outside of our territory.
Okay.
And one of the things we talked about is, like, if you want to have a martial arts school and you want to keep your students safe, but you also want quality control, you need to have cameras, but cameras aren't enough. You need to have audio, like good quality audio. And the reason I say that is for two reasons. One, to protect your business, but two, quality control. Because if you're a martial arts school owner, you don't want to have to be in the school 100% of the time forever. Right? Like, eventually.
It's a fact, man.
Most people. Some people love that and they want to do it forever. That's cool. But, like, if you want good quality control and make sure your students are in good hands, like, I want to be able to look at my phone and watch a class. Does that mean I'm sitting there like Big Brother watching everything someone says?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. I'm on the toilet just like, you shouldn't have said that. That's not how you do it. Come on, you idiot.
My old school, we knew that he had the sound in the cameras, and we used to be like, somebody would say something, I'd be like, shh. Don't, like, they were bitching about the class. We used to joke about it, like, hey, he's got the sound on.
Yeah.
And funny enough, one day, nobody knew. He put 2 cameras outside. We didn't realize there were cameras outside. So we used to go outside to talk if we wanted privacy.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh shit, how long have we been talking out here without noticing? That's crazy. That he put 2 cameras over the outside. I think it's smart, but part of the Academy Safe has come from my leaving that old academy and what was going on there. But
what if a student's
but I think it's smart, man. I think it's really smart.
What if a student's like, hey, your instructor said inappropriate things to me?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you can be able to look back at the cameras and hear, like, especially cameras are not expensive now.
No.
Like, they're so cheap.
I run 3 or 4 Google Nest cameras in my gym. It's like $100 a camera, full audio.
And the audio is good now, right?
Good audio. You get 1080p, and you can actually talk through the camera. The speaker's not great, but you can talk through the camera
to
them.
That?
Hell yeah.
I've never done that.
Hey,
man,
that's Big Brother.
When my fighters will go in, they'll key in on off hours, and I'll get and I'll peek, and I'll see, and like they're hitting the bag, and I'm like, put your hands up. What are you doing? And they're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, they're great.
I think they're absolutely necessary. So, like, the list of things that I read off, there's nothing on there that you shouldn't be doing yourself.
Absolutely.
There's nothing on there. Like, there's nobody that can have an argument with me that can say, well, why would I pay to do that? Listen, we're charging $99 for an academy and $75 per employee to do this. That's us doing the background check every 2 years. They're paying annually. They're paying a membership. We're also promoting the site. We're doing this. We're spending money to get you found. But CPR, first aid, I mean, again, ADs.
Yeah.
Natural, right?
It's common sense.
Smart.
It's the right thing.
The lineage check and like the business insurance. Okay, you're supposed to have these things. So all you have to do is tell us that you have it. Show it to us. You send us the doc. We upload it. We save it. We list you. You look fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, if you don't have it,
23 minutes before I cursed.
Just do it.
No, you said shit during your intro.
I heard him say shit.
You said shit at 16 minutes, but I said fuck at 4 minutes.
Shit.
But I was like back here when I said it.
For anybody who's listening with like the kids in the back seat right now, fuck.
Oh my God, you guys went out.
Sorry. What were we saying? So there's nothing on that list that's really, like, we're not asking anybody to do anything that they're not required, or really, like, maybe let's just say morally it's smart, or business-wise it's smart. Morally it covers, like, it's good business.
But when you think about it, like, Publix has to have an AED.
Yeah.
JCPenney's has to have an AED. The UPS store has. So, like,
most
the fact that we don't
do.
have to have, I've never had one.
But are you supposed to?
No,
you've never had like an inspection come and they write your ticket. Okay,
no, never.
No. I mean, it's like by locale. I mean, it's not. But look, if that's something that changed, I think it's smart. Now, so he doesn't know. if people that are listening who have listened to the show, I had a heart attack. I had a heart attack at training, but I had 2 heart attacks, Friday night and Saturday morning. Before I went to the hospital, I literally went and didn't know I was having a heart attack. This is my EKG from the day of the heart attack. I literally went home. I honestly, it just felt like, when you have somebody's like you're mounted and you can't breathe a little bit, like they're sitting on your chest or your diaphragm, you can't breathe. That's what it felt like. And I was just like, I feel
dude, I've had 35 heart attacks.
Thought I had to shit. I thought I had to go to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom, took a shower that night, woke up in the morning, went back to training again early morning for an open mat. Same thing happened again. My wife convinced me to go to the hospital, and I'm like, all right, let's go, whatever. Yeah. It's just nothing. Yeah. And find out you're having a heart attack. Your heart's choking basically. It turned out I was 80% blocked on the main artery. So brought me down to Fort Lauderdale, and cleaned me up. They go in, remove plaque, put some stents. I wound up with 4 stents and 2 procedures back to back. But if I would have, in my academy, they did not have AEDs until after that happened to me. Because when I went back, I was like, dude, you guys need this. Man, I right now when I train, back then when I got back on the mat, this is 7-8 years ago now, my heart would start racing, just with a little bit of cardio. So it's just I feel like maybe part of it was me subconsciously thinking about it. But when you feel like your body beat, you feel your heart beating, but you feel your body pulsing, right? That's the way I would feel when I would get my cardio going. I was back after 3.
Sure, wasn't just like an intense edible or something? No. Your feet are pulsing.
No, that's not me. But he didn't have an AD till after that. And I still say I don't think I never heard of any training. I never heard of any group first aid certifications. They might have. I didn't say I was there for 8 years. I'd never heard anybody being like, yeah, we. So I don't even know that it was charged. I know it was there on the wall, but I know nothing about if anybody could actually use it, which is again part of the problem. But going back to that list, there's nothing on that list of 8 items that you're not supposed to be doing already, or that you shouldn't really do. That's just not good.
Nothing sounds outlandish. Yeah. Ooh, concussion protocols in fight sports. Yeah,
we're talking to a school. We're talking to a college right now. A very popular college in California, and we're talking to them about they have 30 different martial arts programs at the college. They have cameras everywhere except in the mat room. So we have to talk about as a board, is that acceptable to us? Do we let let's bring them in? That's 30 plus coaches that we can get certified, and we can be showing hey, you're certified here. They probably also teach in academies or own academies. So then we'll actually extend that same membership to those academies. So what a good relationship to have. So now we have to decide I'm like, you don't have any cameras inside the mat room. He's like, it's the only place where there are no cameras. I'm like, all right, I think we could get that approved. Being that you're such a big university and you have so many other protocols in place, I think it would be a good exception. So we have to figure things out like that as they come to us, but that's probably going to happen. We're going to talk to the guy again next week. And, I just think it'd be amazing to have an entire college's program on our site like that.
Yeah, and even if people never use the AD, you hope you never have to use it, an insurance spot, health insurance. For the cameras with video and audio, one of the things that I've really been talking about, just not only my podcast, but just networking with other martial arts schools, is treating your classes like you would treat an NFL game. What I mean by that is there's a quarterback, he plays a game. Next day, a Monday morning quarterback where they diagnose how well they played.
Okay.
And we'll watch fights on YouTube of UFC or Jiu Jitsu competitions, and they'll have someone who does a fight breakdown. Why don't we do the same thing as coaches for how we teach a class? Because in the moment, you don't really know what's happening. You think you have an idea what's happening in class, but if you have cameras of video and audio, you can go back and rewatch and say, okay, let's see how well I taught this class. Do I think you need to analyze every single class you taught? No. But I think once a week or once a month, you go back, whether it's you analyze your own class or you analyze one of your other instructors' class, and you watch it together and let that person break down what I do well, what didn't I do well, what can I do best to help our students, to help make them better. And you'll always find something when you rewatch yourself. Yeah. I explained that totally poorly. Look, this half of the room is all doing it wrong. Yeah. It can't be that they're all dumb. It has to be I didn't explain it correctly.
Sure.
So I'm really pushing for people to just take the time to watch a recording with the video and audio so they can improve their craft. No, and by the way, also point out the things you do really well. You know, like a quarterback might throw 4 touchdowns and be, okay, how do I do that next week? Right? And not just point out the interceptions. Does that make sense? Yeah,
absolutely. One of the things that I know that I saw that you talk about too, and I get like in your ads, and I know that you talk about this on your, I've seen it within your feed.
Unlock the power of your online presence with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Their reputation management program ensures your Google business profile is seen by more potential customers. Black Belt Digital Marketing is your full-service digital marketing agency specializing in local SEO and reputation management. Boost your business today. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com. Your success is their priority.
Today we're at Gracie Trinity. It's my Jiu Jitsu Academy. I've been training here for probably about 20 years now. I had a very significant tear when I tore my UCL. But I said, hey, let's go see if we can fix it. They did some stem cells. That coupled with some laser treatments, the stem cells, man, this is the best my arm has ever felt. It actually feels better than my right arm does now. If you're looking for something to try instead of surgery, and it's an option for you, I highly recommend stem cells. They'll get you right, they'll work everything out for you. And Laheel Biogenics is the place to do it at.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Is you, if I want to call it a system, of getting academies into like the local school, right? And like get them through the door, and like the kids will go through their program at the school, and then they'll walk away with like a certificate that they were in that class, but it's a way to develop leads, correct? I mean, I'll let you explain it. I probably did a bad job of explaining it.
Yeah, no, you have the right idea. So if you're a martial arts school owner, any style, it doesn't matter. You need to get new students, right? And does that mean you're always hustling to get as many students as you can? No, but people are always going to quit because they move or they get bored or whatever. People quit for
Little Johnny
reason.
Wants to do football now instead of
it's soccer season, right? Whatever's happening. So you always have to have
I'm sure you see that
students.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Or people just move or go to college or whatever. So you always have to look for new students. And like I always think, like, what can I do that's going to be the most sustainable source of new students? And one of the ways to do that is organic marketing. So you have your digital marketing service, right? Everyone's got to have digital marketing. You got to have your Google AdWords, your Facebook ads, your Instagram ads,
your map listing, your GBP, your Google business profile. Like people just like, I can't believe that people don't pay attention to it.
You got to
put the address and then they go, I'm online. Oh, I'm listed.
Yeah.
And they don't know there's like about 20 different things that you can do or put or that need to be updated.
And it has to be updated regularly.
Yeah.
Like
the this is exactly how I say it to a client. The consistency and frequency of you updating your business profile online, your Google business profile, is the key to getting found consistently. It's why people blog, right? You don't just put out one blog and be like, I'm going to get rich, right? You're blogging every month. It's the same thing. So we explain it that way to clients. Like you need to be updating your profiles, there's a Bing profile, there's your Yelp, there's, your Google business profile, but continue.
Yeah. So you have to have that online presence because that's where people are usually going to look for first, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with digital marketing, the thing that's difficult is like algorithms are always changing, right? Facebook algorithm for ads changes overnight. Instagram changes overnight. And then if you're an agency, it takes time to figure out, okay, how do I adjust the new algorithm? Or even if you have an ad that's amazing, eventually it's going to stop working because of ad fatigue and you have to switch it up. So what we look for is you have to have those things. Everyone's got to have it. It's not like you can avoid it. But you also need to have like a strong funnel for organic marketing that you don't have to depend on those things. Because if Facebook turns off tomorrow, or Google turns off tomorrow and it stops
working.
There's
a major change, which happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
We don't necessarily always hear about it, but all of a sudden the algorithm changes. And if you're not in the know or in this world, but you're just the advertiser, you may not even know, right? Like you're like, why is my ad in the toilet all of a sudden?
Yeah, even if it was working great, it just stops. Okay, so you don't know why. So you have to have an organic funnel for new students. And like this is stuff we did before digital marketing was so big. So it's not like a new concept, right? It's just like we got lazy because now you can throw money in a Facebook ad or Google ad and people will show up. So I think as like small business owners, we got lazy. We're like, we don't necessarily want to be out in the community to do events. Like we don't want to do that maybe on a weekend or during non-class hours. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But here's the deal. For me, it's like kind of like digging a well. It's a lot of work. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to get sweaty and you got to dig deep. But once you do that, you have water forever. Okay. So what I teach school owners to do is I teach them how to create strategic partnerships with local schools. So if they teach kids classes, this is mainly for schools that like want to recruit kids. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on now. Sure. For adults, it's going to be totally different. But I teach them how to create partnerships with the local education system. So how do I go to an elementary school or a middle school or a daycare if you teach kids that are like 4 or 5 years old? And how do I create a partnership with them that I can come and teach a class at the school, get those kids so excited they're going to come to my martial arts school, and then how I'm going to get them to come to my martial arts school and convert them to new students. Because you can go do a talk at a school and it could be helpful if you teach like bully prevention or you teach a self-defense move. But unless they do like continuous training, they're not really going to learn anything that's that helpful. They're going to forget about it, right? Like you guys, you both trained jiu-jitsu for a long time. You know, teachers, like I'm sure you taught your black belt something last week that they forget. There's no way a fourth grader is going to remember some like block you showed them or some cover that you taught them, 4 years ago. So the goal is really to convert them to new students at your school. And the way we do that is through, I call it the Triangle Codex. It's a 3-step system that we use to get students from the school into your martial arts school. And if you do that, you can do it year after year after year. It doesn't matter because there's no algorithm that's going to change. There's always going to be kids in local schools, and if you do that, like you'll be able to not only be on their phone, in their Facebook or their Google, but then you're in the places where they frequent, right? Yeah. And then we show them how to get testimonials from the teachers and from the guidance counselors and the principals. That way, they have this social proof of the people that they trust the most. Like if you're a parent and you have your kids go to the school, like you automatically kind of trust those teachers, most of them, hopefully, right? Yeah. So if you're able to get them to promote you, become the biggest cheerleaders, you'll dominate your market. But it requires work.
So it's not easy. I know, like just as a student who like I keep an eye on the market, like I understand the marketing, and like my coaches usually wind up talking to me about marketing. The way that I've seen the adults class fill up is get the kids through the door and then the parents start to train. Yeah. And it's my last academy that was huge until he dropped the ball. But that was it. It was focus on the kids program, and the parents will come because they're sitting there for an hour waiting for little Johnny to be done with class. And if you do it right, the coaches are getting to know the parents and then saying, hey, why don't you stick around for the adults class? Or if you have an academy that has multiple classes going at the same time, they can conceivably be in another class in another part of the gym. I know that's usually not every academy has multiple classes, sure. Right? We're talking about smaller academies. It's like, okay, wait till the 7 o'clock class. It's the adults class. But that's how my old gym was. That's how they did it.
And that's the beauty of martial arts. It's like you can't play in your child's baseball team or in their soccer team, but you can practice martial arts with them. Whether it's you can practice your jiu-jitsu movements, you can practice striking, you could do stuff with them. So if you're thinking I have an adult program, I don't really want to deal with the kids. You'll get the kids, then you'll automatically have an adult program because you'll personally invite those people, and those become your instructors, right? So your adult program is what helps you float your martial arts school for longevity for a really long time. And when you have more than one family member that's in a martial arts school, you've probably seen this, like they stay around for a really long time. Because if one person, like if it's just one child or one adult that's enrolled, like and they decide they don't want to go, that's it. But if it's like, I don't know, husband and wife or a kid and their parent, and one of them wants to quit, like shut up, we're going. Like I want to go. Like get in the car. Yeah. Right?
You got that till probably like they're around 12 before they start fighting back.
Fight back.
Right?
Yeah,
Isn't it like it's 12 to 16? I'll actually the gym owner as well. Like 12 to 16 is that time where they're discovering the opposite sex.
Yes,
everybody's got phones.
Girls are always a problem, but like
in what way? In what way?
Every way.
Like, yeah,
I know how they're a problem in my life, but tell me, no.
I got 99 problems, but no, like in that age range. But what I find, at least with the current teen generation, like my teens are not. They're goal oriented, they're success oriented, and that's what they're striving on.
Sure.
So like I'm super excited about that because it keeps them consistent. But the 20 somethings, that's the shift. I have a couple talented young men. All of a sudden, oh, my new girlfriend wanted to see what I do all the time. And I was like, well, it's not all the time anymore now, is it? Now it's like 3 days a week of the time.
Is that a lot or a little for you?
For my school, that's a little.
That's a little. Okay.
You got a lot
that's
of guys. Like, you're, would you, like, I know some, like, I'm in the jiu-jitsu world, so when I say what I'm about to say, it's just like, oh, is it a competition school? Meaning, like, are we sending kids and adults to the jiu-jitsu tournaments in the area? You're training fighters.
Yeah, my youth program is my smallest program.
Yeah.
And then my biggest is just my general adults. And though we don't shove competition down anyone's throat, we always make the opportunity present. So we go through waves. Like last year, everyone competed in kickboxing, but only like 5 or 6 guys did jiu-jitsu. And this year, we're starting to turn it back where everyone's going to jiu-jitsu and fewer guys are going to kickbox. You know, it's just the ebbs and flows.
Like that? Is that something that happens?
You'll get a rush of guys who are like, you know, we're strikers. And then they're like, oh, I'm doing MMA. And it's like, well, you better start grappling. And they're like, all right, cool. My striking's set. Now I'm going to go and grapple a little bit. And then as they start fighting, a lot of the guys are like, I'm not doing any of that anymore. I'm just going to fight. But in reality, especially when you're an amateur, you should, if you're not competing in January, February, do a jiu-jitsu tournament, do an IKF. If you're not fighting in February, March, stay fresh because it's just going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about that? So I have a New Year's resolution for me this year. So I've been doing karate my whole life. That's how I first started. Okay, so I'm black belt in karate. I've done it since I was 3 years old. It wasn't until about, 4 or 5 years ago, I was at Asian World of Martial Arts, like big martial arts supply. And I was buying, for my karate school, I was buying swords. I was buying these like foam swords for for kids to be able to practice with so they don't kill each other, right? And I'm buying like 150 swords, like some like stupid amount, right? Jeez. And some guy comes over to me, this guy in Philly, is where I'm from, Phil McLaurice, and he's like, you're familiar probably.
What's his handle? I know him by the handle, black belt something. I'm going to look for it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And he's like, why are you buying all these swords? He's kind of like chuckling at me. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's for, our karate school. He's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, have you ever tried like jiu-jitsu before? And I was like, no, I haven't. And he's like, why don't you just come try a class with me? Like, and I've always like wanted to go back to be a white belt because I felt I've been doing karate my whole life, and not that it's gone stale, but like it's not that new, fresh thing. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll go. And I'm so happy I did. I took his invite. I started showing up to class and trained there for years. But before I moved, and the reason why I bring that up is because for people who are, whether they're teenagers or adults, it's like I started there when I was like 20, I guess, 28. I'm 33 now. And I thought, because I had martial arts experience, karate, that I thought I was going to be good. I'm like, man, I did karate. I'm going to be good. Just not like amazing. I didn't think I was going to be like, Gordon Ryan walking in there. But I thought I'd at least have like a leg up. Yeah. And I did not whatsoever. In fact, I was embarrassed. Okay. Especially I remember my first class I walked in there. I didn't know what open mat was. I didn't know what, I didn't even know what like rolling was. Yeah. And like I walk in, everyone's like rolling. So to me, they're just all like fighting. And they're like, all right, get in there. I was like, what? like I think he thought I was better than I was or something. I don't know. And it was very, very intimidating. But I haven't done a competition in martial arts since I was a little kid. I'd compete in like performance, like kata, and I do sparring competitions too. So this year, my New Year's resolution, I try to pick something. It's called I got this concept I saw online. It's called a misogi, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
It's like a Japanese term. The idea behind it is that every year you pick one thing that's a really tough challenge that you're going to take on that's going to kind of like define your year. Okay, and every year should have something, because usually our years are kind of defined for us. Like that year we got into a car accident.
I've heard of this concept.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was a TED Talk or a stand-up, but he was talking about like his neighbors. Like, I pick one thing or sometimes 2 things a year to do that are very, very difficult, and it makes his years more prevalent.
You remember them, right? Because usually our years are defined for us by something terrible that happens, a marriage, a divorce, a death, right? And that's kind of how I remember. Oh, in 2013, my grandfather died or something, right? So this kind of puts the power in your hands. Like, okay, I'm going to decide something that's very difficult. I'm going to do this year, or something like amazing. Like, I'm going to hike this mountain, and that way you always look back and remember it. So for me, 2024 was like, I'm going to go a full year without alcohol, weed, nothing. Like a full year sober.
Boring.
Yeah. That's what all my friends said, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna do it. Like, that's literally what I heard from everyone. They're like, oh, it's gonna be boring, and it was.
No, you just be dude. Just be California.
It was, but is there it was, but or
no? I mean, for sure.
You probably got so much shit done.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say my life completely changed, but like, I stopped like relying on alcohol at social events where like I was just doing it just because everyone else was, even if I really didn't want to do it. Yeah.
You mean being cool?
Being cool, exactly. And in the beginning, I would tell people, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not have a drink because I'm doing the sober thing. And then they would like, oh, just like, have a little more balance, or oh, come on, you could, it's just one drink, not a big deal. And then I decide not to tell people, and no one notices or cares what you're doing. No one gives a crap.
We wind up putting a little bit more into it ourselves. We think everyone's going to care. I try to tell people that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, like the one thing I'd say made a huge difference for me. I'll tell you two things. One thing is like I by far got in the best shape of my life because I'm not like having drinks, or I'm not
missing training the next day because of a hangover, right?
or just like waking up late and feeling regretful, or like late night binge eating. Like that just like stops. Like if you don't,
I feel attacked.
Yeah.
Okay,
you should feel attacked.
All right.
Which one got you the late night eating?
The late night binge eating. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think I saw some pizza sauce on your
wrong
shirt.
Wrong place if you're looking for a safe space. It's definitely not here.
This is not it. The second thing I did not anticipate at all was my dreams were they are crazy.
Like literally, like sleep, remembering your dreams,
like,
dreams that you remember.
Yeah, like they became extremely vivid. Like it's super intense, and it's crazy because like you wake up and you're like, I don't know, did I sleep well? Did I not sleep well? I think I did, but like my nighthing was like so like active, right?
Yeah.
And I did not anticipate that at all. And it's like obviously to have dreams is good. It's like therapeutic for it's like overnight therapy. So it's really good to happen. But that was my misogy. Hopefully I'm saying it right. But for 2024,
it sounds like I thought somebody was going to make like the dirty joke of like it sounds like what the happy ending at my massage parlor.
Well, we know what you're doing.
I was waiting for him to make the joke because he's usually down on the spot.
Sir, I lived in Thailand for 3.5 years. Not one dirty massage.
Not one massage.
No. Germs are scary.
So 2025, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do that? It's scary. I was like scary, not something that's like, oh, that's a little bit difficult, but like it's scary that I really kind of don't want to do. Which for me is like, okay, I want to do a jiu-jitsu competition. Okay. So that's what I want to do before the end of the year. And I am not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm a blue belt, and probably a shitty blue belt.
It's okay.
Best.
They got tiers.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk to you guys about, because probably some of your listeners are not all black belts. They're probably people that are more.
Oh yeah, they're all over the map.
Yeah, because I do jiu-jitsu for fun. I never wanted necessarily to compete, but the idea of me having to prepare for a competition and learn the rules, because I know there's different rules of competition versus like when I'm just having fun with the mat.
Don't hit them.
Well, I mean, so going back, first of all, is it Miglaris?
Yes.
Phil's the one that you ran into?
There's Phil and there's Rick.
So Phil,
both brothers.
So I knew, so I followed Animal Black Belt.
That's Rick's brother,
is Ricardo. And you know Charlie Vince, right? Charlie Vince, locally Budo Martial Arts. Yeah. I'm scheduling him for March. Okay. So he'll be in. Hopefully you'll make that. Are you friendly with him? Like, you know him? Like, okay.
We're buddies. We go in the same consulting firm.
Okay. Is it that? But you have like the Maya stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that he's a black belt. Charlie Vince's been on the podcast, I think, 2 or 3 times, and he's going to come in again in March. He moved down from, I think it's Jersey, and he opened up an academy here in Florida with his family. So I know the name from following him, and then he was just like, oh, I'm a black belt on the Miglaris. I'm like, where do I know that? He said like the Miglaris brothers. And where do I know that name from? And now it's coming up again. But yeah, they're like, that's Philly, right? Philly?
Yeah, that's in Philly.
They're big in Philly, right?
Yeah.
His stuff is great. His content's great if people want to check it out. Animal Black Belt on Instagram. So I want to do a competition. So I want to hear from you guys.
Where are you based out of?
Fort Lauderdale.
Where are you training now?
So I moved down here about 3 or 4 months ago, and I've been kind of flying back and forth a lot, so I haven't been like settled. Okay. And just this like month, I've gotten settled.
Why did you move?
So
because winter sucks.
That's a big.
Is
part
it more
of
a snowbird thing, or is it like
no?
I want to get out of the area? Is it building I respect it. If hey, I want to move down and build a business down there. Like, is it a little bit of everything?
So there's a couple things. The first reason I moved was because.
What's her name?
There you go.
Hey,
I feel it coming. I feel it coming. Don't worry.
Man, Florida girls will do something to you, bro. You gotta be careful.
One for a girlfriend. Okay. And then I had 3 karate schools that I owned, within our franchise that I owned personally. And the main one I own completely myself. 2 others I have partners in. And the one I own completely myself, I sold. And I was like, I really want to focus completely on coaching and consulting. After a decade plus of owning a school, I just enjoy more having business conversations with like other martial arts schools. Yeah. I just really, really enjoy it, especially teaching them something that's like a skill of getting into local schools and in their area.
Oh, like I'm a marketing geek, dude. Like I get off on like telling somebody like making a suggestion and then they do it and it works and I'm just like,
it's the best. It's the best.
It's a good feeling. Yeah, I love that.
Ultimately, I'm a teacher at heart. I'm just teaching a different subject, right? So it just allows me to teach a different subject. So I was like, okay, I want to do that full time. I can't focus on the school, and I kind of try to do both for a year. But you try to catch 2 rabbits, you catch none, right? So I was like, okay, I sold the school. The other 2 I have partners in and good staff there, so I need to be there all the time. I could just watch the cameras and do film review with them every,
and be like, keep those hands up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why aren't you helping that person on the sideline who's been standing there for 13 seconds?
Oh my God, you're giving me anxiety.
You're like, what's going on in my school right now?
Here's the thing about film review. Most of the time, I don't even review it myself. I just have them bring it up, and I say, okay, let's watch it together. Tell me what you think, and like have them.
So they've already recognized that they've either dropped the ball or really excelled, and then you're like, well, let's review for the team.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And I don't rip them apart, okay? Because if I watch myself teach, I'm gonna find a lot of things that I don't necessarily like.
Well, I'm perfect
sometimes,
so I never make mistakes.
Besides you, you're amazing.
Let me just say, I'm gonna let you pick up on the thought. Do you follow him?
I don't know.
Follow him, MMA coach Ben.
MMA coach Ben.
He's got a really great social media way of teaching. Not that it's for like his social media where he's coaching, not like doing it for the camera. You use most of your stuff, and I realized that's where it was different for me. Was yes, there's we're talking to the camera and we're showing a move, and then it's just somebody recording him showing a move to his students. And I think that's why it resonates with me more, because I've talked to him a bunch. I'm like, I love your stuff. He's showing like how to do an armbar, and he's showing it point by point, but it's doing it in the like he's not talking to the camera. He's talking to his students.
Natural habitat.
Yeah. And where it stands out as, I think that's why it resonates with me more. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to pump up your. When your stuff comes across my feed, I watch it every time.
Nice.
So. And then
What about my stuff? You don't watch my stuff?
I watch your stuff as well.
Good.
Since you reached out.
Yeah.
I also texted him like, did you watch today's video?
I have a question about, you were talking about like buying the watch and like right. So that we'll talk about that. Yeah. But I just want to say, I think that's what resonates with his stuff, is that it's just him in his natural habitat, and then it's cut together so well. Yeah. It's like just that move. But I also like, I'm 51 years old and I still learn by somebody. I have to hear it. This is
You're
step
51?
1. This is step 2. Yeah. Step
you
3,
look amazing.
Step 4. Thank you, brother.
Oh my God.
I'm completely bald under here. No,
oh my God.
I look like this under here.
It must be the
I am voluntarily bald.
No, I haven't done anything with them yet.
No, it must be
it's the if you saw my parents, you'd be like, holy shit, my dad's 80 this year, my mom's 75.
Yeah.
They're like traveling the world. They're like,
holy crap.
Not traveling the world. They're always like on cruises and going to Europe. They're going on a cruise in February for my dad's birthday.
Active.
Yeah, awesome. They're super active, and they're like it's in the genes. But yeah, I think that's why your stuff resonates with me, because I'm a learner like that, where it's just like, even sometimes I get asked to coach a move. Like my school's great about like, does anybody have something from this position? Milton, you got something from here? And then like we have a ton of black belts in our school, so there's like a real collaborative like sharing of ideas and information, which I love. But sometimes like I'm the guy walking around like, I can't see where his foot is. I have to know where his foot is if I'm going to do this right. Where some people are just like watching from the one side and they're not. I'm like walking around. Okay, his hands on here. I look because I have to know the step 1, step 2, and that's the way he teaches, and I think that's what it resonates with me. He'll be like, you step here, you put here, like the arm bar is the one that stood out to me really well, because I'm like, damn, I don't do my arm bars like that. Where it was just like, he's like, and then it was like, then you lean over this way, and then you do like, it was like every position. It's almost like, I think like the Eddie Bravo way, at least of him naming like every position, was like, you're here, you're in mission control, right? And then you're like, I don't even know all the names, but like it's kind of that learning that I like. It's just like Eddie Bravo named the positions, not just the submissions, right? Yeah. And you going through that point by point is what I think. It's great for anybody. What's your Instagram handle?
You can find me online at MMA Coach Ben.
Yeah, you should. I would even say We'll talk about it, but like that crew, that the people that are doing the production for that crew up there in that Tampa, I know that they do it a specific way, but I like they're filming the marketing,
for
they're filming for it. But like if you put that together with your classes, like I think that would be amazing. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent. But I do like his stuff. Follow him and like because he's stand up too.
Yeah,
I started doing my first school, and really, before jiu-jitsu, I was doing stand up I was doing Muay Thai at a school that had jiu-jitsu as well, and I was like, the jiu-jitsu scared me. It was just like, oh, am I gonna be able to do that? These guys are big and like I'm rolling around. Versus like, I had thrown hands a little bit.
Yeah.
So then I had a family friend open up an academy, and then I went to jiu-jitsu, and then he had Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu, and then I was learning to do them together, how it all played together. Yeah. So again, I think I haven't done stand up for almost 8 years. Other than hitting a bag on my own. My last school, after the first school closed, my last school didn't have it. So I haven't done it long. So again, when I see that stuff, I'm like, man, I got to, So like his jiu-jitsu stuff and his stand-up stuff, I think it's really really well put together. People should be following you. You should be blowing up.
Hell yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Go ahead. So, go ahead. Where did we leave off? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we talked about like why I moved.
Yeah.
So girlfriend,
what was her name?
school,
What's her name? No.
moved out. No, we're gonna keep her off here. She wouldn't listen anyway. Like, I don't know. This year, like,
be careful. Yeah, I said that too.
It's like probably the last thing I want to listen to is my voice more.
I said that too.
Yeah, until something happened.
Whoopsie. Till I got a phone call that said, "Hey, why are you talking about me?"
I feel like I can say anything about friends or family or loved ones on a podcast because I know that they're the people that will never listen to my stuff because they hear me too much.
I thought so too. Somebody reported back on me.
I was going to say, someone narked on you is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, I think it might have been Ben.
I love everybody. Everybody's wonderful.
What did I do?
Kumbaya.
So I moved, and then so that's why I moved, and I also just wanted to change the scenery. I've been in Philadelphia my whole life, tired of the cold.
Are you currently searching for a new gym?
So this week, this will be, I think, kind of a fun conversation.
I had the question, and I asked you earlier, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking for a new school. That's what I want to do, and I want a school that over the next year is going to prepare me for a competition, which hopefully I do. I don't know, towards the end of the year, October.
How long have you been in blue?
A couple of years. I would say like 3. I would say probably 2 or 3 years, but like very inconsistent. If I'm being honest, extremely inconsistent. And like,
are you at a jiu-jitsu academy now, or when you're here, is there someplace you're going, but maybe you're not a member?
So
or you are
I was consistently for the past year.
You don't have to say the name of the academy.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So over the past year, while I was still in Philly, my last year in Philly, I moved locations in Philly, and I started training at the Jiu Jitsu Academy. Josh Vogel, who's a former student of at Balance, where the Migleries brothers were. Loved it there. Absolutely amazing too. Great instructors, great team. And then when I moved here, I just was back and forth too much. I wasn't training at all. Okay, I had too many things. I sold the business, and I was like transferring over to this new consulting coaching side full time, and just being like an idiot about it. Right. So now I'm like, all right,
life happens.
Yeah, life happens.
Just for adults, life is the thing that winds up pulling us off the mat.
Sounds like an excuse.
Yeah. Well, as a martial arts professional, it feels worse to me because I'm like, I should be that.
You're talking about it and preaching about it.
Yeah, like I
don't train. I don't train enough.
Yeah.
Literally talking about jiu-jitsu pulls me away from being able to train more. This is a long day, and then I got to go back and work, and then I don't get to train on a Friday night. Like, so it happens.
So now I'm in my search, and I come from a pretty unique lens because usually when someone's looking for a jiu-jitsu school, they probably usually don't have experience in jiu-jitsu unless they moved. So most of the time they're brand new. Or B, even if they have experience, I know the business side, right? So like, even though I've trained before for a long time and I know the business side, when I'm looking for a school, I think I'm a little extra critical and I'm like looking for specific things, right? Which is fine. So I'm not going to say that.
I think that's the advantage that you have.
It's an advantage, yeah.
Not
and
like
you also know like the gimmick. The pitch and the bullshit.
I'm being sold here.
And, that's fine.
When you go in, because part of what you're about to talk about is that you're going to try out 3, or you have tried out 3 different academies?
2. I have one more tomorrow.
So I think, do you go in and I know you're not walking in being like, hey, do you guys know who I am and what I do? Yeah. Like, do you bring it up in the beginning? Do you talk about it?
I wear my karate black belt. I just pretend I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt.
You walk in with it over your shoulder.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like what part? Like somebody walking in with a black belt?
Like coming in and they're like got a gym bag and like, training. And I'm like, can I spar? And I'm like, well, you just told me you've never done Muay Thai before. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like put it over their shoulder. I've trained.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck me, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd be embarrassed to do that. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Also, I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
Well,
So.
for you though, but you though, like, do you like, hey, I'm in the martial arts consulting, or does that not come up?
I say nothing.
Yeah,
I say nothing. I let them run their. I want to see how they actually run it with me. Unless they ask.
So do you go in as a white belt, or do you go in on a no-gi day where you're like, we don't have to wear belts. Like, let me just see how you guys do stuff.
So here's what I did. I Google search schools near me. Right, I'm not traveling 40 minutes to school. I don't care how good it is. I need something I can go to that's convenient. So look around.
Where are you in Fort Lauderdale? Like close to the water? Or?
Yeah, I'm like right on the water.
I picture you as like being a beach guy. Like, yeah.
I mean, I just moved to Florida from Philly. I went right to the beach, like water view. Everything.
I lived over there for years.
Yeah, right off A1A. Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm like, okay, here's a couple schools near me. One of them was like, I saw some guy wearing a T-shirt at the gym, and I asked him about it. He's like, oh, this one's really good. So I call all three. Only one of them even answers the phone, okay, which is pretty common for martial arts schools. The other two, I call a couple more times or email, and they eventually get back to me, and I schedule classes. Okay, so let's go to school number one. I walk in there. It's like once again, I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want to embarrass anyone. It's evening class, and I have experience, but I go to the front desk, and I'm like, hey, I'm here for a class. And they're like, oh. And the guy's like kind of on his phone, not really paying attention to me.
For real?
Yeah. He's like, I don't know if he works there or he's like, here's the thing. And I know jiu-jitsu schools don't really do this as much. And, but one thing I like about karate schools that they do well is like, usually you can tell who works there when you walk in. Usually have a separate gi, right? This is like, I have no idea.
Like a different color gi?
Yeah, or
like
it's like says, blah, 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 martial arts. And all the instructors have that same one. So you know who works there.
Yeah.
Common sense.
But not, jiu-jitsu schools aren't always, I think, like, they don't always follow that.
No,
they have their own rash guard or whatever.
50 people in white gis, and you don't necessarily, no one's standing out to you.
Exactly.
Is this guy working?
Yeah. So I walk over to him. He's like, oh, yeah, fill this out. I'm like, all right, cool. Fill out the thing. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like, all right, do I go over there? He's like, oh, yeah, you can go over there. I'm like, all right. And
I immediately wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah. So I go in, I put my stuff down, and like no one comes up to me or talks to me, but I'm a friendly guy. I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I don't need to tell people that, but like, but I don't also need my hand held as much, So, I bow on the mat. I'm like stretching out. I introduce myself to a couple people. We start the class. The class is actually like pretty good. It's like nice warm ups. I like a couple minutes of warm up. The only thing I would say at jiu-jitsu schools I don't like sometimes is that like they show a technique. Here's one way to do it. Okay, cool. Here's another technique. Okay, roll. Like I like drilling. I like boring crap.
Yeah.
Okay. I like because otherwise I really don't get good. I forget everything.
Yeah. Kids nowadays hate it.
Yeah, they hate drilling.
Oh.
Well, you got to make it to games. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps.
It's the route.
When I say kids, I mean 20-year-olds.
Okay.
Because they're like, oh yeah, armbar.
Man, you're old, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super.
I'm not drilling armbar 4,000 times in a row because I forget like a month later the little details. I really do. So maybe I'm just an idiot, but I need it.
Oh no, I'm with you. You gotta get the reps.
Yeah.
Was that Bruce Lee quote? I fear not the man who does 10,000 kicks one time, but fear the man who does one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to armbar people, you gotta hit a lot of arm bars.
Yeah. So I walk in there. I go on the mat. We have a couple. We're drilling like one technique, which I love. Like we're doing it over and over again. And he has to switch different partners, which is great. And then like there's like a creak noise, almost like a fart noise in class.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy like stops the class, and he's like, "Did someone just like rip ass?" And like stops the class for it. And everyone's like. And the guy's like, "Oh, it was my foot on the mat." He's like, "Oh God, I can't believe someone like would do that." Just like,
for real?
Yeah.
Have you never done jiu-jitsu, guy?
Yeah, everyone rips ass sometimes. But like, I was just thinking, like, damn, like that's
usually everyone starts laughing. Usually everybody starts laughing.
Yeah, you just chuckle and you move on. You don't make a big deal out of it, right? And the fact that he like stopped the class to point it out, like, was just. I don't know. It did make me feel warm and welcome. Also, the instructor didn't come over to me and say, "Hey, is your first class? Okay, cool. What's up? My name's blah 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 blah. Hey, nice to meet you. If you need any help today, let me know." It's just like doesn't have to, just give me something, right? Yeah. And then later, one of the females in class asked the question, and he goes, "Oh, I already went over that. Were you paying attention?"
Get out of here! What?
And then he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll go over it again." And like, this is a class of probably
an opportunity. That's an opportunity to review it again.
There's probably 25 guys in this class and 2 females. So how do you think those females feel? Being comfortable in class.
Can't ask a question.
Yeah, man. And this is my first experience there. And this is like the evening of and like when the class is over, they do like more an advanced class. I kind of more what I guess what they consider an advanced class. And I kind of watch it for a little bit, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna go. Like I had enough of experience here. And no one checked in on me. No one has called me since then, emailed me.
Did somebody kind of even talk to you?
No, there was nothing. I was like, I was a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, that's just poor management.
So here's my question.
I look at you are a lead or a prospect that should be treated like gold. Like everyone in there should be treated like gold.
They don't know I'm in the business.
But I mean, every single phone call, email, and it's a classic mistake with most martial arts academies is that they don't know what. Remember that. Let me say it this way. Remember that just because you're a coach and you have a black belt, it doesn't mean you know anything about marketing.
Yeah.
You may have had experience, but unless you know about business, it doesn't even sometimes resonate. You just think, well, I have a black belt. They should be honored to come here. And it's just not the case, right? I mean, but I mean, isn't that's part of the problem out there is that people think, I've posted, I have this quote that I said, having a black belt doesn't make you a good person. Being a good person makes you a good person.
Yeah.
Right. So there's this, what's the word? Like, black entitlement. There's a sense of entitlement. Like I'm entitled to you bowing down before me. I'm like, it's the problem. And sometimes academy owners don't earn it. You earn it by the way that you teach. Like I was complimenting you before. If I saw that, and I was up in your area, I'd be like, yeah, I definitely want to at least check this place out.
I always feel weird when you got the guy that had the room was like, you'll refer to me as master so-and-so, like in jiu-jitsu at least, because it's not even the title.
Karate is pretty common, or Taekwondo and stuff.
I get really weird about titles. You can call me Ben, you can call me Coach. If you want to call me Fred, it's cool. But
short story about my new academy. Mm-hmm. I walk in, it was somebody that I had met at my first competition. We became friends on Facebook, followed each other like 10 years. We never trained together, but we followed each other on Facebook. And when I was looking for a new academy, he wasn't the owner of the academy, but he was one of the academies. I was like, hey, Garth, dude, I want to come by. I'm looking for a new academy. He's like, yeah, come by. I walk in the front door, and one of the owners is standing at the front of a kid's class, and he's like, hey, man, like as soon as I walk through, hey, man, how you doing? A little bit like I'm a stranger walking in with my bag. I have my gi pants on. So he was just like, hey, yeah, how you doing, man? Like greeted me. And he says, I said, I'm a friend of Garth. I told him I was going to come down. He's like, oh, right. He goes, you that purple belt? And I'm like, no, I actually got a black belt. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, professor. Immediately, everybody there with a black belt gets called professor. It makes you feel good. You earn it. It made you feel, just the way that he spoke to me felt good. He was just like, hey, man, come in. Hey, my name is Eddie, this and that. And then he went around. He called over to me. Hey, Jason, hey, give him the whatever, what is it?
Waiver.
The waiver. He's like, yeah, man, we'll be done. Go ahead, go, just go talk to Jason. He'll get you all set up. It was like very inviting. I was like, all right, okay, cool. I had 3 academies that I was going to go to. I went there, and after that class, I was like, there was no need to go anywhere else. And after the open mat they had on the weekend, I saw that all the other academies in the area go to this open mat. There were so many people. I'm like, I don't even have to. I can go to these schools now without paying and go to their open mats and learn from them. But this is like the central place that everybody comes on a Sunday for open mat. So I felt so good when I went in there that I was like, I don't even want to go anywhere else to check anything else out because of the way that I was received. And that's a big part of what I think martial arts academies don't do, is you walking through, like, this is somebody that's going to pay you, what, $150, $200 in some cases per month. And they should be looking at you as like, well, not only should they be happy that somebody's coming in, but you are going to be paying them, and they should be treating you as such, right? You're the customer. Yeah. But sometimes it goes the other way around where they're like, no. I'm the important person in this conversation.
Yeah, I don't play that game.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think my number one thing with my coaches and my desk lady, like, if you know their name, you greet them by name from anywhere in the room, right? If you don't know their name, buddy, dude, guy, whatever. But every single human that walks in my gym at any point in time, if I am on the mat, as long as I'm not actively in the act of instructing, what's going on, Danny? Good to see you. No matter in the middle of class, and I think it's really bred this environment. Like, we had a new guy who was really like kind of standoffish. He was changing gyms, had some problems, walks in, and I go, oh, what's up, Oscar? He says hi, and then everyone else in my room goes, oh, what's up, man? I'm Jason. Yeah. I'm Drew. I'm Danny. I'm Jim. And he's just like, yo, what's up? And it's so ingrained in our culture now that even if I'm not around, like almost like the entire room is like, oh, what's up? And they find them out.
We have a lot of law enforcement in my school, so they're almost always late because like a shift goes along or something. And they mess with them so hard when they come through the door, like, but it's like in this fun way, like, you know, it's like, oh, the cops are here, watch out, we're catching a beat, you know, like it's just always some comment about like the state of policing, but it's a fun place to be. It's so inviting. If you walk in, it's not even if you walk in late, but in my school, if I'm there first and you walk in and get on the mat, the students walk around to every black belt and shake their hand, like kind of bow, shake their hand. It is what they do. You go and say hello to every black belt and then continue on, go ahead and stretch. And it's not in this like...
Just the black belts?
It's like if a blue belt or a purple belt walk in and they're getting on the mat, it's their job to go around and say hello to all the black belts. And because so many of the black belts are coaches there, they, they're not staff or paid, but they'll be asked to, hey, show a move, or it's a really open environment in that way. They've just always done it where like the student goes around and just shakes hands. It's not like this really like, oh, make sure you bow. Hey, they miss me all the time, or I'm stretching in the corner, or maybe I'm talking to somebody and they're just like, hey, professor, let me sneak in here. It's like, I think it's like in a very respectful way.
When I was coming up, I was never
it's not like in a weird way.
Everyone just does it.
Becomes a culture.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I think, again, it's like, I also, from the business side, in my old school, if somebody walked in and the coach didn't see, I'm like, hey man, do you need some help? Like, I knew, because
that guy is the best freaking guy ever.
What's that? The guy that says hi to somebody?
If I'm on the computer, I'm doing a sale, I'm selling a t-shirt, I'm teaching class, but Drew, I got a guy named Drew, he's the friendliest human being ever. He's like a living anime kid. I sent him to you, the vagabond coach. He's like, oh, hey, are you new? Oh, you haven't been here? Ben will be with you in a minute. I'm Drew. Have you trained before? Oh my God. So, and I'm like, oh my, you guys are
like that, like
best.
Knowing that, like I won't say that I've like gone out of my way, but like if I see somebody that looks like, hey man, are you training?
Yeah, they walk in, they're kind of confused.
The coaches, the coach, grab a seat, or hey, are you joining us? Hey, yeah, you can change over here. The bathroom's over there. You know, like I think that again, it's culture.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily have to teach your students that, but it's great when somebody kind of picks up on it, or you have those people that aren't like that guy's not a staff member, is it? He just kind of does.
He's my strength and conditioning coach, and he trains.
So I'm curious about the other academy. So that was academy number 1.
Yeah, and like here's the thing. It wasn't like there was that was the bad things, but like it was also very clean, which I really appreciate. That it didn't smell like feet when I walked in there. I really appreciate that. I like the people in the class, and so it's kind of like, oh, do I overlook those things that are like customer service issues? But because when I walk into a school, I want to know a place that I'm going to hang out with these people for a while, for hours a week. Yeah, and like for me, and the new in a city, I also like this is where I'm going to make some of my friends. Right, so I need to have that feeling of like, oh, can I hang out with these people afterwards? And I did feel that way about some people that were very friendly to me, but it was like no one who like worked there like even knew or cared. And like you don't have loyalty to a business, you have loyalty to a person, right? Like you love your instructor, you don't care about quitting on the business. I don't care about quitting on Verizon phone, right? But like if I knew someone at Verizon or something and I had a close relationship and I set up the account through them, I might feel like I'll feel bad about it. So that was the first school. The second school, I walk in, immediately greeted at the door, super friendly, smile on the face. Here's the waiver, fill out the waiver. Oh, so you have any experience? Oh my God, you're a blue belt. That's so awesome. Like, so like, what do you like about training? Like, what do you want to get out of it here? How long are you going to be here for? Because people in Florida sometimes come for 6 months or something. So they're kind of sussing me out that way. And like ask me all these questions, and then when I go on the mat, I see that person walk over to the head instructor and say, "Hey, there's a new person. Make sure you go say hi." That person walks over, says hi, asks me a million questions. Super helpful in class. Make sure I got a partner in class, and then just like super kind, nice, probably just like the exact way you want to be accepted in a school. So I felt very warm there. So I think most likely I'm going to go with that place.
How was the training?
I would say the training was pretty good. I think it was
compared to the first school.
I would say.
Did anybody fart in the second school?
No one. I did, but it was silent. So don't do that.
I would say I would have farted just to see what their reaction was to people who fart.
Yeah. Excuse me, are you okay? What's wrong with your face?
I would say the training was pretty good. It was more like old school. I would say more traditional jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So, and maybe I'm just not used. I didn't even know what the difference was, to be honest. But we started the class with some striking, and I was just like, oh, okay. And we're just doing like bob and weave. I don't know.
Would that be like a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy? Like, was it like showing you stand up into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But it was like we're doing like weaving like jabs and hooks and stuff like that. And then we went into so like the clinch and stuff.
I like it. I mean, that's a little bit more of the traditional right there.
Yeah,
was strike.
I guess.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu did do striking to kind of show you like,
I remember the first time I saw the
clinches.
The self-defense was like when I was getting my black belt. I was like, do you know the self-defense was? Like, I mean, yeah, but not.
Yeah, I've never trained in it like that. Like,
ever.
Part of the Gracie system.
Yeah.
No, I've never trained in a place that did it.
Now, the first school I went to had like a lot of people, like 25, 30 people. This was like maybe a class of 6 or 7, so it was small. And it's like, they're only one class of the day.
What day and what time? It's
like
usually indicative.
Prime time.
I was going to say
PM,
later in the week,
PM.
you kind of like students kind of fall off, right? I kind of feel like my academy, like everyone's there on Monday, and then
Monday is always
smaller as
the
it progresses, and a Friday night is going to be like the lowest.
This is middle of the week, prime time. I would assume will be like the most amount of people.
So Monday to Wednesday, it's like usually going to be packed, and then Thursday, Friday, everybody starts to fall off.
Not a ton of people. I would say the training was pretty good, but a little bit, I would say, lower energy and like maybe not as good competition, and maybe the people there I couldn't see myself like hanging out with as much as the first one. But I just loved how warm the instructor was. Like, oh, this person's gonna be my teacher. Like, this person seems like he actually gives a crap about me. So I have one more.
I would definitely be curious, like just going another night, like like going on a Monday, you're usually going to see, okay, how many students do they really have?
Yeah,
because it's after the weekend, everybody's like, I gotta
have
get
a
a workout in.
Trial, so
like boom, Monday. Yeah, I would definitely like suggest training on a Monday, and then I don't know if this is everywhere, but I know in Florida a lot, it's like Monday if they do striking and jiu-jitsu, it's usually like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is usually jiu-jitsu, gi jiu-jitsu, and then Tuesday, Thursdays are usually no gi with like MMA, so like you're maybe practicing some stand-up and then transitioning into your jiu-jitsu. So like a lot of they call it MMA. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually you're going to get your gi jiu-jitsu. And are you training mostly gi, no gi? Did you have a preference?
I don't really care.
You're saying belt. You mentioned belts and sometimes no gi.
Yeah, I think now I prefer a little more no gi because honestly, I just don't like wearing the gi, to be honest. But I don't care. I'm equally bad at both, I would say.
Now you How about so the third academy is? Do you have the?
I have one lined up. It was a recommendation from someone that I know personally from my old school, so I'm gonna go try that out, and then maybe I'll take one more class at each one and then decide. Because I really
will you go back to that first one, or that first one's off the list?
It could just be maybe I got like one of their junior instructors or something. Yeah. So I think maybe I'll try a different night and see, and like there was good things about it. Like there was like they showed some things I thought were really interesting. I like how they brought down. It wasn't like everything was bad. It's just like I didn't feel like, at least that day when I walked in, that anyone gave a shit that I was there.
Yeah.
And that part sucks. I want people to care about me. Like we have one of the things we teach we do in our karate schools, but one of the things I also teach in the schools that I consult is like you need to check everyone's attendance every single week, and if they're not there, at least the minimum prescribed amount. So if they're not there, let's say for us, like our karate schools, it's two times a week is normal.
Yeah.
If they don't come at least twice a week, if they're there once, you're calling them, not automation, not email. That stuff should happen too. But you should call them and say like, hey, we noticed you weren't here twice last week. Is everything okay? Like, are you guys feeling all right? What can I do to help? Because when people quit, there's telltale signs. Nice. There's smoke before there's fire, right? People don't just quit out of nowhere and like you didn't see it coming. Usually they have really crappy attendance for a couple weeks or a couple months. And then when they come to quit, it's like too late at that point. Like you can try to convince them to stay, but who freaking knows?
This new school, if I'm out for more than a couple of days, I get a message from one of the owners.
That's what I want. I just want to know
I get a message going like, hey man, everything all right? Not, hey, like get your ass to class. Hey man, everything okay?
Yeah.
We know that you love jiu-jitsu, and if you're not here, we're usually figuring something's up. And that's, I've been at this new academy maybe like 3-4 months now. Yeah. And that's like, if I've been out, sick, away, family, work, like I'm getting a message like, hey man, everything cool? We haven't seen you in a couple of days. And again, I do love that. I wasn't getting that at my old academy.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my old academy has lost a lot of students. Not funny enough. I'm not happy about that. I know that people tell me that like the school is slowed down because of, the things that happen there and people leaving, and my barber, every time he gets a call, he was a student there as well. He hasn't trained in probably a few years. He's had some injuries. Let's say at least a year if he hears this. Sorry, Alex. when he gets a phone call, we both kind of look at each other. Oh, it must be slow.
Yeah.
Because like all of a sudden randomly he's getting a call or a message like, hey man, are you coming in? He's like, I haven't been there for like a year. Like if they're calling me and I haven't been there for over a year, like things must be bad. But it's not like nobody's calling. There was nobody calling me when like, hey, I haven't seen you in a couple of days. What's up? Like it just didn't happen.
If I don't go to
I was a
weightlifting,
number.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the academy that I went to was so close to my house is why I chose it. The jiu-jitsu wound up being good. The instructors were like, they were very knowledgeable. But one of the things that he said to me where I knew I just let it go where, man, that was when I should have known to go to another academy, was when he says like, yeah, I don't really focus on the adults program. I really just want to build the kids program. And not because it was just like, oh, get the kids and the adults, like I said, and then they'll come on the mat. It was just like, yeah, I'm not kind of have to do the adults class, but I'm focused on building a kids program because then the kids will become the adults later, right? It's like, yeah, very like I'm paying. You realize I'm paying you every month, and you're telling me like you're not focused on the adults program. I was just like,
well, maybe he doesn't care about growing it, but he might care about training it, but maybe not growing it.
But again, that feeling I got as a student, a newer student there was just like, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not important.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, well, am I getting your best?
Yeah.
Am I getting like your best instruction? And we do like even leaving, I like definitely my game. And there are a couple of other students that I still know and train with or that are at that school. And it's like your game, we can see like our game was very one dimensional because your game becomes your coach's game, right? And he had like a bad back. So it was like very much a pulling guard. And like, there was a very specific methodology to jiu-jitsu and I use it and it works for me. But I can see, you become this like, we're one dimensional because he was the only coach and there was nobody else like allowed to have a voice there. There was no other coaches that were like, oh, so-and-so is teaching this day and his game is completely different. No, it's like even the coaches taught his jiu-jitsu. So now when I'm at a place where everybody's sharing information, I'm just like, fucking, it's just like,
that's
all
awesome.
this info is coming from all these different places and I'm like filling these gaps in like my game where I was like, man, I haven't even worked on legs that much. And oh, wow, this guy's fucking got a great wrist lock game and this guy, we just didn't have that. So again, one of the it resonates with me. Like if I just found a new academy, I was lucky that this one is very close to my home and I knew people there.
Yeah, it's a second home. Yeah. You want to find a home that you're comfortable in.
And what you said too about the I want to be training with people who I am probably going to be hanging out with. I've already been invited to barbecues. We've done multiple seminars. Like. These are people that I feel like I can hang out with. Like, so you have the right criteria in place.
Yeah.
Plus, you might have to like. Well, you said you found a good one, but like when we're looking, because what we know about marketing that side, like we have to like put it in the back of our mind for a second, and I understand like they might not know as much as we do, and even that first school just might not have realized that that's the way he.
And I'm fine with that. If they're going to be bad at sales, but you have to care about me.
Yeah. No,
you have to care about me. So you can be bad at the sales part. Neither school approached me with memberships. I think the second one, I think he didn't. I think he was like, oh, this guy's been in the business. He asked me a lot of questions, so he knew I was coaching, consulting.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, if this guy wants to do it, he'll just do it, which is the right thing to do for someone who's experienced, right? Like, you're putting pressure on someone who's in the business, it wouldn't work. And I don't mind being sold to. In fact, I love being sold to. I love when someone's really good at sales. I'm like the easiest
sale when somebody's good at it.
When someone's good at it, I'm like, hell yeah, man, that's exactly what I want.
Here's my card. Take it, please.
Exactly. I'll give it to you.
How do you feel about? I'll ask you both. How do you feel about contracts? I've never signed. I mean, I've been at 3 schools. I've never signed an agreement or a contract. What is your feeling? I'll ask you both.
Oh, you go first, man.
Do you have like an agreement that people sign? Or like, if they don't show up, I'm still billing you.
Yeah, so we're not a month-to-month. We do total programs. So this is an evolution. Originally, it was like, you're a member, and you have your registration fee, which, if you're looking for a gym, a registration fee is a lie. It's not real. They're just charging you money to type your name
Extra
in.
Money, yeah.
So we shifted to a program structure, i.e., this is a 12-month program. You are purchasing a 12-month program. This is your down payment as if you would put a down payment on a car, and this is your monthly payment throughout. If you go on a longer contract, you get better rates. If you put more down, you get lower prices.
Okay.
The big thing for me was I would do financial holds. Hey, I'm going on vacation for 2 months. Can you pause me? Yeah, no problem. But now I'm realizing like, oh, no. You can't. Okay, I'm going to Taiwan for December. I'm not going to drive my car. So can I not make a car payment that month? No. but you still get 12 months. If you don't use January, cool. Your billing goes through on the 12th just because it's reoccurring billing. But the month of January, i.e. that 31 days, is just put on the tail end.
But they still pay that. They still paid for January.
Ideally, if things are perfect, like you're not in need of a financial hold, which I do give, totally reasonable, shit happens. But if you're like, hey, I'm just going out of town, all right, well, you're leaving on the 5th, your billing day's on the 6th, you're coming back on the 10th. It's really not like a thing, but those 7 days just get shifted.
That's nice of you. I don't think I would even do that.
I try not to do it for anything less than a month because
it's silly.
You're not playing.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. People ask. I know up in my area, I have a lot of people who travel. I'm from a relatively affluent city, so I get people. Dude, I was shocked.
I know, Pommy.
Going to Japan for the weekend.
Yes. Like when summer would hit, I remember when I first opened, I had a little bit like 30 kids, and 10 of them were like, "We're going to be spending June, July, and half of August in Italy or France."
Do it
or
with
Thailand.
you were going to do that. You were going to do a voice.
No.
Ooh, I'm gonna be. We're gonna be. You started it like, and I heard
Sorry.
it. I heard it. You were like, we're gonna be, and we're traveling to Europe.
We're going to Europe. My husband's finally gonna meet my other husband.
Oh shit! No.
Yeah, but like they would travel for extended periods of time, and I would pause them, and over time they're like, "Well, it's not a big deal. We'll just whatever." And that's when I realized, oh, this is a thing. And then as I talked to like my consultants, they're like, they're still getting their time. To the extent that, hey, you want to quit, but your son wants it, great. You got 6 months left. It's now your son's. Yeah. No problem.
If you were under contract and somebody didn't pay you, does it go to collections?
I've never sent anyone to collections. I have thought about sending people to collections, not because of the money, but just because they were dicks. You know? That's it. Like, yeah.
100%.
What's your take?
We do the same idea. I think that sounds like the Maya method for membership, where you do down payment. Yeah, so ours is a little bit different.
Is the down payment usually bigger than the first month? Is it? It's larger. So is it like this is your 12-month cost? You're going to put a deposit that's maybe bigger than just 1 month.
Okay, for my school.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
If you do a paid in full, you'll save 20% of total cost. If you do option A, which is the larger down payment, you'll save 10%. If you do option C, which is a little bit smaller, you'll save 5%. If you do option D.
And that down payment is based on, okay, this is what a 12-month.
Yeah, like it costs.
This is what it costs for 12 months.
It's $1,500 for 12 months. So you'll put $400 down and then we'll divide the rest.
That's what I'm understanding. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. Continue.
Can I make one suggestion on that? It's just, I think language really matters a lot. So, like when
I'm definitely simplifying.
Clients, yeah, but instead of saying like pay in full, which we call it early pay. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, it just sounds a little bit nicer. Paying full is like, oh my God, I'm paying for this thing all in advance. Early pay is, I'm just doing it now so I don't have to do it later.
Yeah.
So it's just like a very simple thing.
So do your academies also like work with Maya? Like I'm hearing more and more about
I've definitely been to a ton of Maya events, like Martial Arts Industry Association. I had on my podcast the founder of it.
Okay.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah. So he was on there. Great guy.
Do any of your is that a membership kind of thing, or you just go to their?
It's a consultancy firm, so you can sign on for a membership. Like I have a monthly consultant meeting with a consultant. We have monthly group consultation meetings with like the top brass.
Okay.
And they're like, this is what we're running for the next 3 months. This is how we're going to play it.
And then you kind of follow their methodology. Okay.
You can really pick and choose whatever you want to do.
Are your academies or your family's academies?
We've done it previously. Not a while. I've gone to the conferences. They run really great conferences too. So that's kind of stuff like out in Vegas and stuff like that. So
definitely going to be out. We're Rob and I are figuring out like where we need to be going for Academy Save. So
cool.
I'm like, I want to visit first before we're talking about setting up booths and go like doing other stuff. But,
totally. So we'll do membership agreements as well. We'll do like 6 months or 12 months, and then they can decide how they want to do it. Sure. We've done flex memberships before where they cancel whenever they want, so that's also an option. But I talk to lots of school owners. Some of them do month to month, and some do contracts. There's a lot of ways it's going to be successful. So it really just depends on your culture and how you do it.
Do you feel like there's a downside to one or the other? I feel like my marketing company, it's month to month. We do not make anybody sign a thing unless they've requested. And it's usually like a bigger company, and it's just like, we have to do this because it's going to like a corporate. Mm-hmm. But I usually tell people, I said, I have an agreement. I can send it to you. But we wrote the agreement. it's protecting us.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing in it that's like, oh, you know, if it basically you don't pay me, these are the services, and if you don't pay me, right, I'm locking you into a monthly card. I don't do it because we have here's our agreement. This is what we're going to do. Not an agreement, but this is our sell sheet or pricing sheet. We're going to do that. You have this. We put the line items into the invoice, so like you're seeing what you're getting every month. And if you want to cancel, you cancel anytime. Yeah. So that I don't, as a marketing company, that's what I do.
So they
are
on reoccurring billing.
They're on reoccurring billing. It bills on the same. But if they canceled the day before their billing was going off, cancel, stop the payment. You're gone.
Oh, you don't even do like a 30-day cycle?
I'm not. Well, sometimes, you know, depending on the situation, we say, well, why? Is there something I can help with? Like, you know, the holidays are, money's tight. Well, let's talk about it. Maybe we could do more. Maybe we can help out. Maybe we just put it on pause, right? So there's a conversation to be had. I don't know if that translates into the martial arts academy, running an academy world.
It's definitely easier to start, and you're more likely to start if it's canceling time because you feel more comfortable, right? But then the challenge is when someone runs into an issue or a challenge with something, if they're on month to month, and they don't have an agreement. Yeah, they just bail. So that's why I prefer people pay in full or do early pay, even for my coaching consulting. Like for me, it's like they have a 6-month program. They work with me. It's called the Black Belt Business Elite, where they work one-on-one with me. Now, I also have a program. It's called the Academy. That's like group coaching. They cancel anytime. Okay, it's like cheap. It's for schools who have less than 100 students who need extra help. But this is like the work one-on-one with me. And working with schools and setting up strategic partnerships takes time. And you're dealing with people, not an algorithm. So it takes... You're going to have some failures. You're not going to get into every school in your area. You don't have to. You only have to get into like a couple of them at first, and then use those to leverage the others to show them how to do. Now, the issue is if they are doing like month to month, what happens is they fall into a challenge, and instead of finding a way through the challenge, they find a way out. And so I prefer people, if they do early pay, or they have a contract, because when they have an issue, they're going to find a way past it and not just like a way out. And that's what people naturally tend to do, is like fight or flight, right? Yeah. And if they pay in full, damn sure they're going to look for a way to figure it out, right? So I much prefer that. Now, I don't make everyone pay in full or do an early pay. I give them the option. Yeah. But like, I much prefer that because they're just going to be better because of that. They're going to fight the challenges more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've in the past, not under my umbrella, but when I've worked for other marketing companies, like as a salesperson, I used to, you know, like, hey, look, you pay in full, 10% off if you pay for the year in full or 6 months in full. Yeah. As a salesperson, I get more now. I get my commission now than a residual every month. So I used to take that opportunity to offer it, you know, with the okay from the owners. I've owned a marketing company for 8 years, went to work for somebody else for 6, and then now under my own umbrella for going on 4. So like I haven't done that. We've talked about if somebody asks, you want to pay in full, we'll give you a discount, but usually doesn't happen. It's just like, again, most people feel most comfortable just doing, you know, recurring billing every month. And for us, we do the, you know, cancel anytime. We don't get a lot of cancels, but
I don't even present it in the beginning. Like we do a regular membership, 6 to 12 months. We do bi-weekly billing, so every other week. And then after they enroll, we'll say, oh, by the way, forgot to mention that we also have an early pay option.
We want your first child.
We also have an early pay option for people. They don't want to do the bi-weekly. They'd rather just do it all at once. They can save some money. Okay. Would you rather keep it the way it is, or would you rather do the early pay? And they go, I'll do the early pay. That sounds great. How much is it? Oh, it's this much. You save this much. Oh, do that. Or they say, nah, just keep it as it is. Sounds good. Okay. So we keep it very casual, because sometimes like people might get sticker shock. They see a whole 6 months or whole year. And if you never said anything, you just did it like bi-weekly or monthly, they would have just paid that. So I like to do like, oh, by the way, like after you already have the card, already have the information, and if they want to change it, cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's smart. That works out. So go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, so I want to go back to the advice I want from you guys. So I checked out the schools, but either way, I'm going to join a competition. And there's a million ways to compete. There's I don't even know the names of I don't know the rules, whatever, ABCC or whatever it's called.
New breeds or
I don't watch.
Especially if it's your first tournament, I would tell you to skip the IBJJF.
Okay.
It's hyper-regulated. You have to get licensed by them. I'm not a fan.
You got to get a card. You're going to have to get somebody to sign off for you.
Your coach is not allowed to be on the floor with you. They're not allowed to sit inside the stable. They've got to be 6-8 feet back there with everyone else, so they're not really super able to coach you. I would stick with the locals. You know, New Breed comes to town very regularly, and your coach can actually get to the edge of the mat, have a seat, look at your score, talk to you. And it's where you're going to find the more people that are having their first tournament. You go to IBJJF, you're dealing with guys who are like invested in their competition because they are also reasonably more expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
Okay. You can be wrong. Whatever.
You have permission to have bad taste.
You can
okay.
be wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, from my experience. So I never did an IBJJF. I do agree with everything that you just said about that side being that things are more stringent. But as an older player, I competed at white, blue, and then once at purple. I had my heart attack in between blue and purple. So I did one more after the heart attack, and my cardio was just horrible, and the whole beating of the heart, I just didn't feel comfortable out there, so I just stopped competing. Didn't do a lot. My goal was to like compete once at every belt, and I think I competed like twice at every belt. I competed once at white belt, got my blue after that, competed twice, and then purple, competed once, and then it didn't continue. But like my commitment to myself was I'm going to compete at least once at every belt. I want a medal at every belt, and then it just at purple I stopped. I did the new breeds, local in Coral Springs. It was great. It's right here. It's local. Don't have to travel. The downside for an older player and big, I'm like at that time I was like 225, 230. I'm still like 230, 235 now. There was never anybody my age. There was never anybody my weight.
True.
So white, blue, at new breed, they automatically just combined everybody because they don't want to give I don't know this is exactly what, but they don't want to give refunds. So I was like in my 40s and fighting guys half my age, but I won. I double golded at white. I got one gold at blue. I lost a no-gi at blue. Again, fighting like I was.
Do you think it's because you're Masters 4?
I don't even know all that.
I don't know.
I don't even know all that.
I called
My
him
age.
70.
What would I be? I'm
38, you would be Masters 1.
I'm 33.
33? Sorry. 30 to 40 is Masters, 40 to 50 Masters 1. Basically every 10 years is a level.
I think it's great.
Masters.
I think it's great to
That sounds
compete.
way better than I am.
It's great to compete, but at that one, how old are you?
33.
33. So it's probably going to be a lot more people closer to your age. You're still high in age at blue. So you're probably going, they're not going to say, hey, listen, there's nobody else in your Masters, whatever, right? So there's no choice at IBJJF. They just go, there's nobody else. Here's your gold, right? They pretty much, here's your gold medal. Thank you for coming out. You didn't compete. Go on.
We'll keep your 150
They're not going to look to. They're not going to like be like, anybody want to fight this guy? New breed. They were like, well, we're just going to put you in with these younger guys.
I don't mind that. I'd rather do something than do nothing.
So with the new breed, it just depends on, right. Again, you might go to IBJJF, and if there's nobody there in your weight, age, and experience level, right, you might not compete against anybody. The older you get, the less likely, or the thinner your division is going to be. Like. Probably mid-20s to early 30s, 145 to like the 185, maybe like that. That's usually where it's stacked, and there's just tons of competitors in that. So with new breed, I just always got put with younger people. And at purple, it's because you ready in my mid-40s, and they were I was up against like 25, 26
They
year old
didn't
people.
believe the application.
I wasn't so worried. I wasn't so worried about it. And then like my last one, I did well against my first match, and then the other guy, the second guy that I fought at purple, he'd been training since he was like a little kid, and he's in his he's been training forever.
Yeah, he's a monster.
And he just, I got the shit beat out of me.
Yeah,
and it was just like I actually held him in a lockdown for a while. And
was it still fun?
No, not fun at all. I had a big purple mark across my nose that I didn't see till we got to the restaurant. Nobody said anything to me, and I had like a bruise across my nose. I looked like a fucking idiot, like Bozo the Clown. It was like, but it was post heart attack, so I kind of like had that as my excuse. But it was like I felt like I embarrassed myself and I embarrassed my coach. But it was also like I probably shouldn't have been out there yet, and I probably, if I would have waited longer, I probably would have still competed. And then I just kind of lost like the drive to. But I love jiu-jitsu. I love to train as much as I can. But it wasn't like, okay, I did it a little bit. But whatever. But as far as from what I've heard, I like the IBJJF better because you know that you're going to be evenly matched versus you get moved into maybe a bigger weight class with younger people, which will happen at you.
No, I don't think blue belt 30-year-old. No, I think you're going to have plenty.
Yeah. Okay. For me, that was the downside. And even at this, like I wouldn't go do at 51, I wouldn't go do a new breed because there's not going to be anybody there my age. And I'm not a thing that keeps me off the map, but immediately 51, the black belt said I'm going to fight. The guy could be,
Yeah, like I'm in the same age group as
5,
Cyborg.
6 stripes.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, who am I? I'm going to fight somebody that's been doing this since they were a little kid.
Me.
Again, not something that keeps me off the mat. Just like I don't have the drive to do it. If I was to do it, I would do an IBJJF where I know it's going to be evenly matched. I'm going in there. I'm going to be evenly matched. That's what everybody else is getting. So I want that same thing. At New Breed, I didn't feel like I got that. I was just like, oh, all right. So we'll just put the old timer in with these guys. Who cares if they beat the shit out of him? Luckily, I did well, but. That's the feeling. Like, just like you went into the school, right? They didn't care about you. I remember in that purple belt, that last one, the purple belt was talking to a guy next to me, didn't realize like I was going to be, we didn't know that we were going to be fine. And he was just like, yeah, there's some older guy in the thing. They were like, he's like, maybe you want to ask him if he wants to fight us, these 2 other younger guys. And they were like, he says they laughed. Like the people that worked there laughed. And I was just like, I just heard that. I'm like, that's me. That they're talking about me. So I just knew like they didn't really care. Yeah. So that's my experience. Again, I think getting it it's a little less formal, or I haven't been to one as a competitor.
I've honestly only been to 2
New
IBJJFs
Breed's gotten really big. I've gone to watch New Breeds and I'm like, holy shit. When I went, it was like so thin and there weren't a lot of people watching. And now, like in Coral Springs, when it comes here,
1,500 competitors.
It's different. Yeah, it's big. So you'll have a good time. Definitely think you should do it.
What do I do to prepare besides obviously train?
You got to talk to your coaches and make sure like I'm going to compete. Do you have a competition class? You have to kind of learn about points. Like the first one I went to, I'll defer to the coach, but the first event that I went to, when I told my coach I wanted to train, he's like, okay, then we have to completely change. We were just learning cool moves every day. He was a newer coach, so it wasn't super structured. And then he was a competitor all the way from blue to brown. And he was just like, oh, we have to completely change the way we're training because now it's points. It's just like takedown, pass the guard, side control. You're getting points for the things that you do versus I'm just going to choke you, right? So you have to learn the point system. You have to learn, you have to know that you're going to hold a position for 3 seconds.
I don't know any of that stuff.
Wait, if you you're waiting to see the ref give you the points.
He's going to have to hold a position for 5 to 7 seconds.
Okay. Why?
Not tan enough.
Oh. Do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
You're not Brazilian. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's something you have to make sure that you're talking to your coaches, at very least higher level people there that have competed that are going to show you what you need to know for competition. It's not just going in there like, hopefully I'll just submit them. You've got to know where the points are, how long you have to hold it for, and there are other rules and things that you can't do.
Some people do. I tell my students not to cut for.
I don't really want to do that. I'm already tiny.
My coach told me not to cut on my first competition. I was cutting weight, and then I just didn't. I wound up just getting put in with a group of people, so it didn't even matter.
If your weight class is like 160 to 169 and you're 171, okay, cut. But if you're 175, don't bother.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. Let me go around the room here real quick. We'll let Matt go first.
Unlock the power of your online presence with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Their reputation management program ensures your Google business profile seen by more potential customers. Black Belt Digital Marketing is your full-service digital marketing agency specializing in local SEO and reputation management. Boost your business today. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com. Your success is their priority.
I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for 4 years. In 4 years, I got hurt 6 times. I received stem cell injections in my wrists, elbows, shoulders, both knees, and I got stem cells recently injected in my left index finger. After a week and a half, I was right back at it, going the way I like to go at it. Italy Heal Biogenics, they're friendly, they're patient, they answer all the questions you might have. Educate yourself. Call the Heal, ask about stem cells, and see where it takes you.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Matt, share your Instagram. Anything you want to share? Anybody you want to shout out? Now's your time.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at blackbeltbrenner1. I'm actually going to be documenting me picking the schools, so I didn't post it yet.
Well, that's awesome.
Trying to keep it anonymous.
Have you done
I've done a video. Yeah,
are you going to blur them out?
Yeah, I'm going to blur them out. I might just like say words without the actual pictures, and then like just talk about the one I chose, and then why I chose it, and then I'm gonna
ask you where you went.
You don't want to throw too much shade. It's a small world down here.
No. It's also like they're still martial artists and they do that for a living. I don't want to hurt them. So yeah, follow me on Instagram at blackbeltbrenner1. I'll document. I'm also gonna document the whole process of being like a 30-year-old as a blue belt going to train in their first competition. So I'll kind of show that whole process. Also, if you're a martial arts school owner and you want to grow your school organically, so without spending money on ads, or without relying on spending money on ads, you can find me at doubleyourdojo.com or just send me a message on Instagram at blackbeltbrenner.
Double
DOUBLE, double your YOUR dojo.com. I also have a podcast too, the Black Belt Business Podcast, where I interview the top 1% of martial arts business owners in the country. So people with many locations, or people who have one locations, they'll do $1 million a year, or $1.5 million.
Are those people that you're usually working with, or they're
sometimes.
not always a client? Just,
no. Usually not a client.
Okay.
And then I also have a newsletter called the Black Belt Business Newsletter, where I do a newsletter 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday we talk about marketing. Wednesday we talk about retention, and Friday we talk about team building. Okay. It's free, so anyone can get on there. If you just send me a DM on Instagram newsletter, I'll send you the link to it. But it's the whole thing about the email is a 3-minute read, 3 days a week, and all strategy, no fluff. So it's really quick to read, really strategy. Half the time you can copy and paste it and implement it right away. But the strategies that I learned from the top 1%, I just make it digestible for everyone else.
Okay. All right, got it.
Cool.
Sir.
Cool.
Oh, please.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. If you're in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, be sure to check out American Top Team Palm Beach Gardens. We are the premier mixed martial arts training facility in the North Palm Beach area. If you are a promoter or fight show of some sort and you're looking for commentary or a Cutman team, talk to your boy, Cutman Pro Ben on Instagram, MMA Coach Ben on Instagram. Check out my stuff. Coming soon, Fight Tape US. Fight Tape, new branding, new gauze, new tape, the best hand wraps in the world.
Nice. He does commentate. Was it usually Combat Night?
Commentate for Combat Night.
Do you know who they are? Combat Night? Follow them. That you're going to hear his voice.
Yeah, I'll grab everything after.
Extremely talented, this guy. I'm glad to have him. Thank you for doing this again, brother.
My pleasure.
I'm going to do 2 quick shout outs. One shout out to bryoproteintech.com. Get $30 off with code JJD on their regularly priced kits. The BJJ box is back with us as well. They went to quarterly, so we should get a box pretty soon. You can check them out at thebjjbox.com, and you get 20% off your first box with code JJD20, right? That's when you get like a whole bunch of, like they send you tape and gauze and not CBD, but like icy hot kind of stuff. Sometimes, depending on your box, you might get a shirt or a rash guard. So it's kind of like this box of like surprise, gifts from them every year. They used to do it monthly. Now they're doing it quarterly. So really cool. Little housekeeping, right? Check us out at Jiu Jitsu Dummies for all the ways to watch, listen, and support. You can get to Academy Safe from there. You can get to Black Belt Digital Marketing from there. So it'll show everything. My personal IG is Uncle Milty BJJ. And that's it. We're good. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, Jiu Jitsu.